So, Lexworth, tell us everything we need to know about everything. And you can use the chart now. I noticed you left one little spot blank. So, so if you'd like, I can run up there and put something in it, so. Oh.
It didn't need to know.
I'll tell you what let's do. If you would take two of your items, take one of your items and run it across, and then I'd love to hear your 2 to 4 metrics that you decided for us. Just pick one.
Oh my gosh.
You want us to pick it for you?
Yeah,
Do the middle one.
the middle one that I left a blank spot.
Do the second one. That's what I'm trying to say.
Alright, this one we want to have an open house community feedback. Kind of what we talked about, taking the mash cart unit out to the neighbors, but also we realize that we're going to be part of the Village of Palm Springs Fall Festival. So at that point, we can talk to people and also maybe set up a spot where people can vote for the 3 concepts of what they'd like to see in the community. And
As part of that festival?
yeah, like that would be one of our areas to gather votes, besides taking the mash cart unit out, and then besides also having an open house where we give, food and walk through the facility and talk to people, and also have areas where they can vote on the
So
concept.
we don't end up feeding hippos.
Do y'all, do y'all know what they're voting on?
Well, we will find out, more about what they're voting on, so we're thinking November, according to the planning, group, they should have an idea of the 3, they should have something kind of drawn on.
3 different plans drawn up for them to look and
For the
choose
park.
from.
Yes.
Is
Which
what
would you
I'm-
like to see?
Yeah, I want to make sure that other folks that are in here.
We feared that if we said, what would you like, we'd have a gazillion ideas scattered all over.
Yeah.
Here's 3 to choose.
Yeah, you'll have wing walkers and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Imagine that.
Yeah, all right.
That is imagination.
Now, what about the metrics?
Okay, the metrics, for that specific one, we'd like to have votes gathered by that certain time. The metrics for the park is where we want to explore further how we can actually, we came up with 10,000 visitors a year, we would feel like we're doing something there, but we want to know how do we know? So we're trying to figure out in the planning process, is there a way? Would it be through a card that they scan to open the park? Would it be through, I don't know, would they have to come in and check with the staff to get into the park? We're trying to figure out how we could capture those families as they're coming in.
Maybe security cameras.
Yeah.
We
Maybe
talked
get-
about that.
Yeah, that'd be interesting to,
Has
Even-
everybody gone?
Now, let's do a little peer mentoring here
Okay.
from other groups. You know what they're trying to do? Get a park out there, an urban, Disney World on a park. And the community votes on it. What would be measured? This is a participation metric. We have this many bodies come through the gates. What other things could you measure?
I'm thinking you could measure the number of teams that are using the park. If you have organized activities, I know you've talked about athletics. So I know like basketball, futsal is something you've talked about.
So what are we trying to accomplish with the park, and how will we know we got there? That's how you frame the metric, the outcome. So what are we trying to accomplish with the park?
Families.
Family togetherness.
So if family togetherness is critical, then you measure family togetherness, not just individuals, 1,000 visitors, but
Correct.
then you begin to figure out how can we support the fact that we've got 600 families
Yeah,
that played together or did something.
that makes sense.
That's how you figure your metric. What's the outcome? How will we know we're making? What else? Let's just assume, yeah.
You just gave me an idea. Now, one of the things we were struggling with, we don't want to charge. for doing the park. And furthermore, I think the person who is
Give
financing the
money, right.
park is what they're charging, you know. But one of the things we could do is we could, have families sign up, and in order to come to the park, they'd have to sign a liability release waiver for them and the family. Now, that's something that would be quantifiable, and also sit well with our, risk management department at DHQ. I would think, they couldn't frown on that. Even though it's just a signed piece of paper, it's not.
I started saying it doesn't really do anything.
It doesn't, but in a sense, it shows a little due diligence, and it kind of puts an onus on the participant to be a little more careful.
I think that's worthy of debate, consideration.
That's a nice way to say that.
No, I would.
I'm gonna write that down. I
Think
like that.
all the way around that is, what does it say to the family? What does
Yeah.
it say to the, you know, who we could, and I'm not taking a side, I'm just saying, because
It's
that's.
like
the-
signing a golf cart rental agreement waiver that isn't
Right.
worth the paper it's on. It makes them treat the equipment better, thinking, oh, they have recourse.
I know when the Y came out to my part of the world, you had a chance to be a founding family.
Hmm?
That cost $20 or something. It was just, but it said, we're in this. We want to put some skin in it. So-
If you're having athletic teams, when you do that, often you have a parental release form.
Right,
And so that gives you an occasion for collecting those.
yeah,
Yeah.
back to his idea.
Yeah, back to his idea, right.
Also, we could measure the number of times that we might have rented the park out to an entity, like someone who's having a special party, or, an athletic-
Especially if it focuses on family.
Exactly.
In fact, that would be if that's the point of the park and the donor, then that's the way people have to apply. That's who you're available to.
Right.
So, you know, because that can be very powerful. I mean, an individual church can say, we want a family day. And we'll come down to the park to have, it, you know, and bring all of our families. I mean, that could be really cool.
Well, in the military, sometimes when they build a new facility, the people who are the first people that work in that facility, they're considered plank owners. And they get there's on some wall in
Walk
this.
the plank owners? Oh,
Well, my
Maybe.
uncle was Coast Guard, they call them planks, they
Yeah.
walk the plank, but anyway. He's a plank owner in the Clearwater Air Station because he was there when that facility was built and opened. So when you open it, if you have a nominal fee to become a plank owner in the park, I mean, there's gonna be maintenance, there's gonna be things that break, that have to be repaired. I mean, I'm not
Yeah.
saying charge people to come in, but
We've been
it does
looking at
give people ownership.
the paver things in front of the
Yeah, there you
worship
go.
Yeah.
activity center.
or little statues of everybody that.
All right, so you know, kids and technology, you know, they know the latest and the greatest. And I don't know if this is going to fit with your vision or not, but what about a QR code that they scan, and then that unlocks scavenger hunt, or, you know, I don't know.
That is one of,
That's a program.
that's his idea right there.
Yeah,
Oh,
We
okay.
And to have
we
it
talked
theme
about-
related with the Bible, like Jesus drawing in the dirt, a little sculpture,
Like the hidden
and a
riches.
QR code to figure out, you know, where that goes. in
and the
life.
kids could reverse mentor their parents on what a QR code is and how to, what they could actually do.
We're looking at the possibility of a wristband for Christmas that has a QR code that you can give to a kettle on the wristband. And that might be something you could incorporate.
And as a conspiracy person, I know that's the Army now tracking me. Everywhere.
So what, I walk by the red king, just had to tap his phone
Yeah, right.
twice?
So a tag reader is because we did it because of theft and security. So that way we actually had access to every car that came in. And if you're collecting, because you want to collect how to reach these families, because your ministry is beyond the park. You want to invite these families to other things so that you will have their information. And also with the information that you are collecting for their liability, you include your photo release, so you can go there anytime to take your pictures, even though it's outside, don't worry about that. But yeah, the tag reader helped us tremendously and you just place it at the entrance of your park.
volunteer mentoring they want. All right, they just signaled to me they're through listening to you. All right, Dominic, you're next. I don't care what they say, or whoever from your team. Whoever it is. We want to know about Summer
Take this
Park.
one down. You gotta help me. I'll take this one.
Yeah, y'all need that back. And if you'll put Winter Park up there on community, so that way
We'll
we
put
know.
our park's name up there.
Yeah,
How about with this right here? You can use one of these.
Where was it? You're
Yeah.
that way we'll know when we see the picture, because we get pictures of all of them. And we change the pictures out. All right, Winter Haven, Winter Park.
I was thinking about parks.
That's, I know, the park threw me. Maybe y'all could call that Park Haven. Never mind.
All right, so next steps for us will be, we'll have to reconvene with our partners to discuss, these projects, our current shelter, what's going to be the next step, which property are we going to pursue? With the HHS and the federal government pretty much closing the application process on the building right next door to us. The GSA, they're going to actually appraise the property, so Lord knows how much that property is going to cost. It could be anywhere between 300,000 plus, but we're going to reconvene to figure out what's going to be the next step. As a group, do we want to pursue that same property, or do we want to go with the idea of one of our partners of some potential property that he has? So, of course, the people that's pretty much going to call that party will be myself and Dr. Dixon, and we're hoping that we can go ahead and get this ball rolling within the next 2 weeks. And then, of course, the how we will measure success will be we've met and we've come up with a plan.
Okay.
So the next step after that is.
So that's okay. I mean, to keep you from having to go through it all, I just wanted to.
Oh, okay, gotcha.
Give us the metrics though, that y'all talked about for knowing that your initiative is going to work. I mean,
the metrics would basically be, getting our local government on board, which we've seen that they're very invested in seeing this happening. So basically, not only just our local government, but we want to get people in the community on board with this as well.
how would you state your outcome? What is it you're trying to accomplish? But
We're trying to decrease homelessness and eventually get people into permanent housing. That's our overall agenda. We want to help people, of course, but we're not in the Band-Aid game, and what I mean by that is, feel like we're pretty good at putting Band-Aids on people. We'll provide them food, we'll provide them shelter, but what's next after that? We want to be able to see people successful. Give them the resources to find jobs. Give them the resources to how they can go and get permanent housing and get people off of the streets.
all right, so your outcome started off with help people with housing, and then we had about a paragraph of an outcome. So your final sentence is what you're actually after, right? Transformation, or how did you just say it?
I didn't say transformation, but
No, I know.
still
That's why I said, how did you say it?
Yeah. No, transformation. Transforming lives.
I'm not trying to
That's
say
fine.
that. I like what you said. I'm
Yeah.
just saying.
I don't forgot what I said, but
Oh, okay.
yeah,
What did he say?
Change people's lives.
changing people's lives.
He said help them find permanent housing.
That's what the last
Reggie
thing said.
done confused me. I don't forgot what I said.
No,
Because
because
just teasing.
it was precise. Your last piece was precise.
Yeah.
And that's what people need to know whether you're gonna hit a target, and then you can build, well, how will we know that? I mean, if it's just kind of a, well, we just wanna see people have a better life, but if you say, we wanna help people find permanent housing, then your metrics follow how many people are finding permanent housing. You know, I mean, it makes it a much cleaner, for donors, cleaner for partners, cleaner, and that's what you gotta be able to do.
And the question might even be, how many people do you want to have find permanent housing?
Good.
In what time period, right?
And those are things that have been discussed.
Yeah, those have been discussed in meetings that we've had, you know, how many people, what's the timeline, and so forth.
And all of this will help you get there. We're just trying to, remember, accelerate your capacity to get there. And that, your ability to say it that succinctly will really allow you to move forward.
Could I say one more thing to you? Don, one of the things I heard you say in one of our sessions was that you're going to bring in Jobs for Life as a program to begin to help people gain the skills necessary so they can afford permanent housing, right?
That's already in place in our community.
You have Jobs for
Yeah.
Life there?
Yes.
Yeah,
good.
that's
One
been
of
one of
our
our
partners
partners.
does that.
That's
And
awesome.
the good thing about it, and that's a perfect example of the difference between lead and lag factors. See, that is a lead factor,
Right.
that people have skill to get to, you know, the lag factor is now they can afford a house. So figuring out what are the, and who was it the other day, the two behaviors that impact future behaviors you were talking about.
Right.
What are those? Those are the
Order
lead
the
factors.
incentives.
So, and since we're not gonna see you again, that's why I'm being pretty, boom, we wanted to send you out again with, all right, we gotta solve this, kind of thing.
And you also need to have training on how to continue in keeping your housing once you get it.
Right,
Because a lot of times they get it, but then they end up losing it again because they don't know how to manage it.
right.
Yeah, yeah.
So we gotta give them the tools to be able to manage it. So